And kind of once I found ballet and found this discipline and technique, I started kind of like seeing how I can play the game of like making these people happy while like slowly injecting in my own personal flair over the years. And I think that came from like already being on the outs of everyone's expectations.
Welcome to the Grace and Form podcast, your backstage pass to the world of movement and the people and stories that shape it.
Hello, Sass.
I was waiting for that. I always say hello to you first. Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. It's a bit of a sad day though, because we're seeing each other through a screen again.
It's so depressing.
It's quite depressing. We had the most incredible few weeks in Australia.
Yes.
And we are now back. We've both been hit pretty hard by the fact we have re-entered winter from summer, and we're finding ways to be okay with that, adapt, keep our bodies happy. And I think that's where I'm going to be for my learning and recommendation of this week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you go first? What's your learning of the week?
Okay, my learning of the week is something that happened today, actually. I was doing class and I put my point shoes on and I haven't danced in a little bit, which is good for the body to heal. And I put my point shoes on, it started jumping. And then all of a sudden I just had this really excruciating pain in the outside of my ankle around the post tib, I believe, on the outside. And I just was like, in my gut, I was like, this just doesn't feel right. And so usually what I would do is continue dancing and try to dance through the pain. But it was quite excruciating. And from our injury episode and everything we've learned from that, from us editing it and listening to all the voice memos and the amazing advice from people, and also our own journeys, I realized, I should probably just listen to myself, my gut, and what everybody said on the episode, which is trust yourself. And so I just sat down, I rolled out for the rest of class, talked to a friend, and saw some PT and tried to reset my foot. And like the world was an amazing thing today and gave me the day off from rehearsal, even though I was scheduled to do rehearsal. And so I'm able to rest today.
So good.
So that was my learning, is to listen to my gut, rest when you know you need to. And yeah, I think that's definitely so important for myself and obviously so many other people to just keep remembering it.
Yeah, I love that. My learning this week, I have been dealing with a little bit of grief because my granny sadly passed away. And I was just thinking, what was my learning from this week? And something I was saying about her to my family yesterday was, she was somebody who I saw a quote once, and I think this is just such a beautiful thing to think about and try and embody. It basically said that if I was to cut her open, all that would spill out was love. And this was who my granny was. She had had a stroke many years ago and she had a few words, and it was lovely, I love you. It was just love. And it always really inspired me, and I really felt it. And it inspired me to just, even through the toughest moments, we all have so much love within us, just to try and really feel it. And
Yeah.
it's something that I've been thinking about a lot this week in terms of just legacy and what somebody leaves behind. And sometimes it's just like a feeling.
Yeah.
And that's something that I have been thinking about for my own life. And just, it's all about mindset. And she was somebody who really inspired me. But I think it's important for us sometimes just to think, not in a depressing way, but just, what are the things that we want to embody? What are the energies we want to embody? And a learning this week for me is just, wow, I'm inspired by that. And I really want to try and embody that in my own life. Our recommendations this week will be quite similar, because mine really is that because of our time difference, which coming back from Australia is pretty big. I'm now waking up at 5 a.m. and I think it's a good recommendation to rethink your daily routine sometimes. Change things up. I think I might stay to the 5 a.m., and just shift it, go to bed a little bit earlier. So bringing in new habits is my recommendation. Trying out things a little differently, seeing how they fit. And this is actually feeling pretty good for me. I think I'm going to try it out this winter, get a little bit more morning light.
Yeah, I was going to say you're basically just staying in tune with nature. My recommendation is also, stemming from our Australia trip. We just had so many amazing encounters with wildlife, wild plants, the
Crocodiles,
ocean,
wallabies, koalas,
koalas,
bats.
snakes.
Indy loved the bats.
I loved the bats. I couldn't get enough of the bats. They were like cute little, like doggy faced, but acted like monkeys with a huge wingspan that I've never seen before. It was just like unreal.
Fascinating. We spent so much
Fascinating.
time just stopping still in nature and watching.
Yep, and that is exactly my recommendation because I'm now in a city, and which for me is always quite tough because I know myself and I am my most happy when I am in nature, always. And so just stopping when I'm feeling a little down or a little flustered or overwhelmed by the energy and the chaos of the city, which is super helpful at times. That energy is also essential, but sometimes it can become quite overbearing almost. And so just stopping and looking up and watching the clouds go by or listening to some birds and just really having a moment of stillness. So just turning inward a little bit, having a moment, taking your phone and putting it inside your bag and just sitting and looking at your surroundings, I think is my recommendation.
Being in the moment. And I think that's a really nice segue to our next guest.
Oh, yes. So today on Grace and Form, we're joined by someone who embodies artistry in every direction he turns. On stage, in the studio, behind a sewing machine, in front of a sketchbook, and in the way he moves through the world. Gilbert Bolden III. He is a principal dancer with the New York City Ballet and one of the most electric, creative voices shaping ballet today.
Let's dive in. This podcast is an extension of our app, Grace and Form, where we bring ballet classes and ballet-inspired movement practices to you from beginner to pro, so everybody and everybody can experience our love of dance in their own home.
Absolutely, and we want to share everything that makes us feel amazing with you, and you don't even need a studio, and that's what's so wonderful about it. You can feel good anywhere.
So download the app, get a 7-day free trial, come move with me and Indy and some of our wonderful guests and incredible teachers.
We can't wait to see you.
Action.
And we're here. Gilbert, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Me too. I'm so excited we're doing this. Andy and I were chatting before, and obviously in so many of these episodes we go through and we want to hear about all the things that have made you you and all the years up until now, but it feels like you're going through quite a major time at the moment. So before we go into everything, how are you? How are you today?
Today, I'm doing well. It's kind of my day off from doing any kind of PT and recovery focused work. So I'm just kind of been enjoying my life, doing some laundry, and just now I have this. Now I get to talk to both of you.
So nice. And you've had like a mega, how many months has it been? So obviously you had Scotch Symphony where you had a pretty big twist and turn to what was going to be a rest of a season. What happened and what has happened since then that has meant that, it's Thursday and you're doing laundry and you're speaking to us?
Yeah, so it was May 4th, I believe. A lovely Sunday matinee. The sun was shining. It's spring season. It's my first show dancing in Scotch Symphony with Achilles after doing 2 shows with Indiana.
Oh, which was magical.
And it was so much fun.
So much fun.
But so there I am, got about my day. Everything is normal. And in the middle of my variation in the coda or in the finale of Scotch, I just feel my ankle kind of like overextend in a way, in a plie. And it turns out to be a ruptured Achilles, fully ruptured. I've been equating it to kind of a flat tire in a way. Like when you're driving on the highway and you're like, something is wrong with the car, but I don't know what it is. And then you get to the gas station and you're like, oh, it's a blown out tire. It's very much that same energy.
It's so wild because I feel like the people we've been asking about this or we've learned about ruptured Achilles, it's almost like you don't know what it is at first. Like you do because, of the action that has happened and why there's numbness, etc. But there's like almost no pain and it's kind of just seems like a weird feeling.
Yeah, for me, it truly was painless. It was just kind of like my instrument is not in alignment anymore. And I about 10 years ago for my meniscus in my left knee as well. So I've already gone through a knee injury and surgery of sorts. So I kind of, when I was on stage, expected to look down. You see me looked at my feet. There's a video of it, of course.
Oh
I
boy.
looked down at my feet, expecting to see my knee not in alignment. And so once I like checklisted that, and I was seeing both my feet on the ground, but it felt like my left ankle was in like a 3-inch boot. So I was kind of just like, I'm just trying to figure it out. And that's when I looked to my friends on the side, like I look at Lane Habany, and I was like, through a grin, I was like, should I go off stage?
Oh
She
my
gives me a really
gosh.
subtle like nod. Like everyone's white faced, and it's just like this felt like I was on stage for like 5 minutes, but in reality, it's like a 30-second from rupture to off stage. So she says I should go, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I kind of look at the audience. I'm like, I'm gonna go now, and I take the step on the left foot, and because that's the one I ruptured, it gives out, and I use all of my contemporary jazz modern training, and I hit the deck, roll on my butt as far as I can into the wing, and then I just army crawl all the way off stage.
Oh my
I was like,
gosh.
just get off as fast as possible. Don't ruin the show. Don't make this a thing. Just like disappear into the ballet ether. And side stage, I think it was Jackie, his stage manager, running over to me, and then Megan Dutton, who's doing her bar for the glass pieces, and they're just like, what happened? And I was like, I don't really know. I'm kind of just like I didn't cry at all. I no tears, kind of anything. I was kind of just like, I don't really know what happened, but something's not right, and I probably can't go on. So let's get someone here who can finish the ballet.
Wow, you were so calm.
Well, I think it was a thing of like, I just felt like it was obvious I couldn't continue, because I
Yeah.
did try to continue in the moment, and so I was kind of just like, all right, well, now we're in injury mode or whatever we are. I ended up seeing Dr. Jessica Galena, 2 days later, I think, because it was a Sunday, so I couldn't call her. Offices closed, all the things, you know. And walked in, she squeezed my calf for the Thompson test, and was like, "Oh yeah, it's definitely torn." And again, no tears, just like fully into, okay, this is where we are now. We're in recovery mode.
Wow.
Wow,
And you
that's
just became a
crazy.
principal that winter season, right?
Yes, this was my third show as a principal.
Man.
Gilbert, but then you've just got such an amazing head on your shoulders to just be like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. And I remember seeing a video it must have been on your stories, of you coming back after the surgery, and Chun and Giovanni trying to help you up the stairs, and then you're like
Yeah.
on your bum, kind of like helping yourself. And I remember this because my boyfriend at the time was going through a totally different surgery, like a little, basically like, he stubbed his toe in comparison to what you did on his ankle. And I remember texting Indy going, what did Gilbert do? Because I had this like idea in my head that I was going to be having to like help my boyfriend Ed up the stairs like that. And I was like, I can't deal with a wimp. And she was like, no, Gilbert's really, really hurt himself. So tell me, so who was your kind of like support bubble as well that was making the experience lighter?
Yeah. So, well, at the show was my roommate, she's been my roommate in New York for the entire time I've left the dorm. So that's like 7 years now, 8 years now. So she's effectively my sister.
Oh, that's
But
so
she was
nice.
at the show. It was her. I was like, you have to come see Scotch. She loves Scotch. We both love Mendelssohn. So I was like, you gotta come see it. And so there I was, like on side stage, and within 2 minutes, her and Wendy Whalen are in my face. Like Wendy saw her and grabbed her, and they both come backstage and were there for me.
Wow.
She stayed with me through all of like the laser. We got in a cab together. I crutched home. We got me up all 5 flights of stairs together. Like, she's kind of been my rock in all this. And then on the actual surgery day, because I had surgery over in Jersey, Giovanni had a car. So I asked if he could take me, or if he could pick me up from surgery, because I was going to be looping everything. And then Chun actually surprised me. So it was the three of us all together, which was really nice.
The sweetest threesome over here. We
Yeah,
love these three.
it kind of helped. It's immediate, like, oh, we're just having a fun time. We're having a trio adventure. But yeah, and then obviously we get to the stairs. Again, New York City, 5-floor walk up is what it is. I wish I lived in a nice, grand, wide staircase, but I do not.
Man.
And someone had told me about the butt scoot. I think it was Lauren Johnson when she did something with her knee when she couldn't really bend her knee and she couldn't climb stairs. She was like, the butt scoot saved my life.
Wow.
So I kind of already had that in the back of my head. And when they were trying to figure out, oh, can we piggyback you? Can we do all these things? And I was like, no, you guys are in season. You're not going to carry me up the stairs. I'm a 200-pound man. Like, we're not doing this. And so the butt scoot was definitely effective. I only had to do it twice, really, because for the first 10 days after surgery, I just didn't leave the house. I was like, I'm not butt scooting anymore than I have to.
Yeah.
But on that 9th day, it was actually my roommate's final dress fitting for her wedding. And I just knew that I had to be there for her. So I did the butt scoot down and the butt scoot back up. And then the next day I got my stitches out. And then after that, I could, hobble up the stairs of sorts with the crutches, and it was fine.
So we're in like June-ish time when this is all happening.
This is middle of May, yeah.
Middle of May.
So I just passed my 6-month mark of surgery like 2 years ago.
Incredible.
Oh, wow.
And what's the recovery been like? Indy did say to me before, she said that you had said to her that actually in terms of the recovery, you've had it pretty okay. It's all gone to plan.
Yeah, it's kind of been that thing of, you hear all the horror stories, and even when the Achilles tear as a injury itself, people say it's like their worst nightmare as a dancer. But I don't know if it's just how my brain is made up or whatever, but it's been really kind of fine, and really just taking it on the chin and continuing to move forward. Like, everything becomes exciting when you can't walk.
Yeah.
So I believe I was non-weight bearing for, I don't even know how long. It was like, I think it was about 12 weeks of non-weight bearing.
Wow.
And so I got very comfortable. I packed away the hospital grade like silver crutches and got some forearm crutches, which, that wrap around here, a lot more comfortable. I could get some speed on these things, let me tell you. And also it kept my body really T because of the contraction of the abs. They had to swing. My shoulders buff,
Jacked.
waist small. As soon as they were like, you can start walking again, I was like, no, but I've been so fit still.
And you also, didn't you continue to do your gala dress? I know we're going to spend a little bit about your fashion, but
yes.
Gilbert actually attended Gala Sass and continued with his look while he was in the boot, right?
I am crazy for this. Yes, that was before I had surgery.
Before?
Yes. So I went down on Sunday. Tuesday, I saw Galena. And after she confirmed that it was Achilles tear and we're going to do the surgery on the following Monday, she's like, do you have any questions for me? And I was like, well, listen, I've been making my gala outfit and I've been working really hard on it. It's possible to go to the gala in the boot. Like, is that a thing I can do? And she was like, I mean, yeah, like the Achilles is torn. You're not really, we kind of agree. We were like, there's not really any more damage to be done as long as I'm being careful. And so I just really didn't do anything for those like 2 days. I finished, I was doing hand sewing with the boot on, just like the hems and everything. And so after a very traumatic injury on stage, the next time people see me, I'm glamorously on the red carpet. And so it was just funny, kind of like everyone's kind of tiptoeing around me. And I was like, guys, I'm having a really good time. Like, so I've kind of been having a good time since the jump.
Oh.
Like, I was not going to let this injury like stop me from living my life and being happy, Like, I feel lucky that I have built a life that I can live with and without dance, but also I'm a dancer through and through. That's never going to go away. Injured, retired, whatever,
Yeah, that's such a special mindset to have, and I feel like it's a really good thing for people to be reminded of when they're going through injury too, to make sure that they feel like they have other things that they can also enjoy, and that dance also is not your full happiness too, hopefully.
Yeah.
And if it is, check yourself a little bit and see if you can find other things, because it's fleeting,
Exactly. And there's a whole world out there. There's so much to enjoy, even if it is just like plain old hobbies. They just like going to the movies, listening to new music every Friday, just there are things that you can do and things that you can spend your time doing that aren't just like pushing you forward in life. It's like your job or your school or whatever. It's like you can just enjoy the life that you live. And I think that's really special. And that's what I did a lot of those months where I was on my back mainly.
Oh man. So inspiring though.
Yeah. So those first few months, again, it was pretty much because I had to also take the bus to PT and to the doctors, which I live in Harlem and my doctors are down in like Midtown. It was about an hour on the bus each way if I caught the bus on time.
Yeah.
So, at least 3 hours of my day was spent in transit to wherever I was going. So that really ate up time. And, I just would read books on the bus. People were really nice to me because they felt really bad. It was kind of interesting being like using the handicap seats, and it was like me and all of the lovely older people on the bus, and we all were just kikiing like together.
Love that.
And then after a while, I was started to wean off the crutches, moved to one crutch. I still had the boot full time. Then I moved to a cane where I didn't really need the crutch anymore, and that made me feel more able to have a social life and go out and see people, go to dinners and everything. Again, I dated in the boot and the cane. Shout out to those guys. We were definitely team players.
Aw.
Having the cane be like stashed away during the day and then like getting it back. It was what it was.
It's a good
life.
way to meet people because you're in a vulnerable place too. So
Exactly.
you're just really honest in yourself.
Again, I have a life to live. I'm trying to get a husband. I'm trying to get married. Like,
And who doesn't
I
want to
have
be
the
known
time.
as like cane boy? You know what I mean? Or you know what I
Exactly.
mean? There's
Exactly.
something that.
When I stopped having the boot and was still doing the cane, everyone kind of would like look at me on the street, but I was like, I can't really go any faster than this. And I was kind of like slowly making my way down the street. Like,
Man.
it was really something. I really did enjoy it, and I had this beautiful wooden cane. I got it from Amazon. I ordered it the day that I got injured because I knew I would want to have it for the gala.
Yeah,
That
you
was like my
knew.
main thing. And then when I went to Vail this summer, because Heather, Watts, and Damien, they were so sweet. They're like, we want you to still come. You can choreograph. You can heal on the mountain. We have the best PTs because they're so like it's a ski town, so they have all those like really traumatic ski injuries.
Oh yeah.
And there, just with the crazy terrain and the hills and having access to a pool that I could walk in and like learn how to walk without the gravity, it was a really helpful time. And by the end of those 2 weeks, I was walking without the cane or the boot and everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So then from there, I've just been getting the strength back, getting my little calf back, my little left calf warrior. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at now. It's all about strength and comfort until we get back on stage.
It's amazing. So going back all the way when your calf was strong and your ballet hadn't entered your life, rewinding, I definitely saw lots of little things online about kind of what was it? You were copying MTV in your living room.
Music videos.
Yes.
Yeah. What did dance give you from a young age?
I feel like, I just remember seeing these videos and being like, that it just looks cool and it looks fun. That's kind of, if anyone's seen me dance over my career, they'll know I really appreciate cool and fun.
You
I'm not
definitely
always
do.
here for the technique, as it were.
You're a performer.
I'm working on it now. I promise.
You have beautiful technique too, Gilbert.
Yes, thank you.
And
But
Gilbert's always in class, always working hard.
Yes, but I liked the fun. I started in jazz and more like theatrical styles. It wasn't until I was more in high school that I found ballet. But going back with the music videos and everything, I also remember I had this VHS. It was Darren's Dance Grooves, I think it was called. And he actually, I'm not sure if he choreographed them or he just like was a teacher, but it was 3 music videos. It was a Britney video, an NSYNC video, and then I forget the other one. But he would teach you the dances, and I would do this like teaching over and over and over again, learning these dances and performing them in my living room. But at the time, I still hadn't taken like a classical class in a way, or a traditional class, I should say. It wasn't until I was about 8 or 9 that a school opened up near my mom's work, and she was like, "Do you want to try this?" I remember it was on the second weekend of like soccer tryouts. And she was like, well, you can do this or that. And I said, well, I can always go back to soccer in the future, but like, I'll try dance now. Like, why not? And it was a boys only jazz class. I went for about a month before they were like, we need boys for our performance team. Do you want to join full time? And at that point, I just did everything, like, jazz, tap. We sang, we did like acting. We just did everything. Ballet was like once a week, but again, this is like small studio Dolly Dinkle ballet, but it was something. I was there for about a year and a half, I believe, before I moved. And I remember the first school I went to when I moved was a all ballet school. This was in Idaho at the time. And after about a few months, I stopped going. I stopped dancing for about a couple months, like I think it was 3 months, because I really just did not like ballet, or in that traditional sense of like the basics of ballet. I thought it was very slow and uninspiring, coming from a world of like jazz and hip hop, of like just, you see it, you do it, you figure it out, and you work at it from there. The building the blocks of ballet felt really not as interesting to me. But as time goes on, I got into a school, Idlewild Arts Academy in California. After my freshman year, they said you would do well to do a ballet intensive to round out your technique, because you can do a lot of other things, but ballet will only help you. It won't hinder you. Just go for 4 weeks and you'll have a good time. So I go to Ballet Austin, and that's where I find out about like ballet performance, and like I start to see the videos of like Svetlana and Roberto Bollet and like Margaret Tracy and Damien Wetzel and Stars and Stripes. I'm seeing these ballet videos, and I'm like, oh, I understand. Actually, I do get it. Like, this actually is a really cool art form.
And exciting
Um,
too, in lots
and
of ways.
exciting.
Yeah.
Also, I think that was the year that the YGP documentary First Position came out, and I was like, I want to dance. I want to compete in the competition, and to do better at this competition, I have to do ballet.
I was going to
And
ask that.
so
Were you competitive?
yes,
Yes.
I was.
I could
I
feel
did.
that energy, but like in the best way.
I did some competitions in the more in like contemporary lyrical in Idaho through those few years. I did end up moving studios, and so yeah, I competed for about 2 years in that kind of capacity. And then when I started high school, I was like, well, I guess I'm giving up that life. But then YHP came around, and I was like, oh, I can still kind of combine this like more mature my life. I'm 14 years old. This this style of dancing with competitiveness, and I can just like blossom here maybe. So that mindset is what took me from my school in California to the rock school in Philly. And that was also my big jump across the country, because I had never really been to the East Coast before that
And that's
for a long
also
time.
I feel like that's a school where you can thrive in ballet, but also they really elevate that jazz kind of theatrical dance in
Hmm.
dancers. Like if you're really flexible, if anybody knows Gilbert, Gilbert is one of the most flexible people I've ever seen. And I feel like at the rock school, they definitely highlight those things, which is so great. So you
For
never lost it.
sure.
You just built it into your ballet.
Yeah, that's kind of where I started taking control of my technique and my style in a way. I always kind of felt like this outcast is the wrong word. I was just very behind in a lot of ways. I started dancing much older than everyone else that I was dancing with, so I had years to catch up on. But I was being forced, or I was being put with a lot of older kids because of my size. I was always taller, bigger. I just kind of fit in visually with older kids. I was always just kind of just doing things without knowing and finding myself, but people didn't always love that.
Mm.
And kind of once I found ballet and found this discipline and technique, I started kind of like seeing how I can play the game of like making these people happy while like slowly injecting in my own personal flair over the years. And I think that came from like already being on the outs of everyone's expectations. I wasn't this perfect. I didn't have perfect feet, perfect knees, perfect the build. I was like overweight as a kid, and pretty much was always just like the bigger person, like in any school that I was in, or any class. And I feel like I was always made aware of that as well.
Mm.
So I kind of gave up the expectation that I was going to be a favorite or a chosen one. But in that gave me the freedom to be an artist.
And that's when you definitely embraced your height, obviously, and your presence and all of these things. You got that freedom to. But that's also so wonderful because it's you that chose to do that,
Definitely.
and you made maybe something that may have not been feeling so nice to not be chosen or been the favorite, but in a positive way towards you to grow more.
Exactly. I just knew that at the end of the day, all you have is yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of times. Also, like I was always moving schools, so I was kind of always making connections, but I never really had like a long term connection to my dancing, my dance history, my dance training. So I just found comfort in making my own strong choices, for
Yeah.
better or for worse.
I mean, and you can definitely see it in your dancing at New York City Ballet. It's so nice. So you have a beautiful rise at New York City Ballet. How did each stage, apprentice, core, soloist, and principal, like, how did those feel to you? What did you learn in each phase? You also had a moment where you shifted quite quickly, right? You went from soloist to principal quite quickly too. But what
Hmm.
did you get from all of those stages in your career in New York City Ballet?
I mean, I remember when I first was asked to be an apprentice. It was the middle of my third year at the school, and they took me, it was a random Thursday after Halloween, and they pulled me out of class and they were just like, so we need you for Nutcracker tomorrow. And I was like, oh, okay. Complete, like, it's one of those things that, like, because I had this, like, I had to build this confidence in myself. Part of me was like, yes, this is what you've been working for. This is like, this feels correct. But also classic imposter syndrome. Like, this is, what do you mean? Me? I didn't think I was like the best in the class or the right fit. Like, I was confident, but I wasn't, I knew my abilities. I wasn't like, again, perfect. So it was a bit of that kind of like straddling that line of confident and imposter.
Mm.
But I was like, you gotta do it. Like, you can't take it back. It actually really wasn't your choice. You were chosen.
Yeah.
So that felt really special at the very beginning. And then I ended up getting in with Roman, and just to have him there and the two of us, like, I think that was a really fun first season
Yeah,
together.
he's a great energy too.
Yeah. And just like my little Roman.
I know, sweetest.
My baby Roman. But all through that kind of first year and a half, 'cause I was an apprentice for I think a year and a half. It was pretty much, that was like the battle was, how confident am I, and how, like, assured am I in my dancing and in my technique and in my artistry. Because again, I feel like I still had a couple people, as we all do for apprentices, you're kind of like, you're assessing how you fit into the company, you're assessing how a young dancer fits in the company. You're always kind of looking out because we all love our company so much. I feel like, and I was still finding myself, and that was kind of interesting, finding yourself amongst established artists as
Hmm.
opposed to finding yourself in a school where we're all kind of in flux together.
Yeah, and you're working. It's a job now. So
Yes.
you've progressed from schooling to job, and it's quite a astounding place to become an adult as well and
Hmm.
find your own confidence, because it's like you've already passed this like in between moment where I feel like normally you would hopefully try to find yourself in that confidence before you enter a job, you know?
Right. Yeah. It's like, you don't have the learning time to, like, or like the on staff training. It's like, you have to go in and like kind of be sure about it. But so that first year and a half, it was, but I mean, at the end of the day, it was so much fun. I like made so many connections, and like, obviously it's like you're coming into a family.
Yeah.
And now I look back and I'm like, that was forever ago. And now I've had all these friends for 8+ years, and
So
it's kind of
special.
insane. But I remember after that, once I got promoted to the core and I was fully in the company, it felt really like everything had paid off. I think the first ballet I danced in the core is when we were doing jewels. And so it was diamonds. And that first show of diamonds, I just like could not stop smiling on that stage. Like, that, between the music, the costume, and everything, I was just like, this is where I meant to be. And again, everything felt real. I think as an apprentice, you still always feel like, are they going to not take me? Is this not going to work out? Am I actually not doing as well as I think I am? And getting that contract definitely helped kind of solidify my faith in myself and
Yeah.
my confidence in myself, to move forward. Through my years in the core, I feel like it was definitely a back and forth. It also was such a kind of crazy time in the company. There were big changes happening, and we are kind of young and caught in like the wake of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you were in the change of directorship, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was in that kind of, yeah, the change of directors, the interim team,
Yep.
kind of everything that happened in those 3-4 years. So it was a really interesting time, but it also kept every year exciting in a
So
way.
fresh.
Exciting is the wrong word, but fresh.
Yeah.
You never knew what you were going to get into.
Never. It was very wobbly.
Yes. So, and even personally, like, I was finding out who I was as an artist, but also what my body was as an adult. My weight fluctuated. Also, I think I was starting to go out and be social and trying to have a New York social life while also being a dancer. You know, it just, it became kind of this crazy bubbling over pot of
Yeah.
sorts.
It's a really
And
hard balance, that.
Yeah. And I had, again, I had a lot of fun. I made a lot of friends, but there was a moment where I had to kind of square off and come back into ballet and really focus on what it is I wanted to do. So I remember when we came back from COVID, I was making such a conscious effort. I was like, I'm gonna, gym 6:30 in the morning every single day. I'm gonna really take care of my body, take care of myself, take care of my mind, and really do this ballet thing. And I was at that time also able to find the fashion and like have these side hobbies that are like not necessarily having me out until 3 a.m. on the weekends. I'm able to have a hobby that's fun, that's kind of that I can align with my dance career at that moment.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll speak about the fashion for sure later, but
Yeah.
did you find that during COVID, or was that something you've always been interested in?
I've always been interested in fashion and like serving a look.
Yes.
Always.
Making the look just right, even in like buying clothes or Halloween costumes. But actual sewing was during COVID, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's so amazing the things that pop up, and it's like you said with the injury, it's like, when you're able to slow down and find other things that can support your life and make you feel fulfilled doing them, it's so helpful not just to kind of keep you balanced when things go awry in other pillars of your life, like when you're injured, but also supporting that funny thing. I think we all go through it in our 20s particularly, of like, who am I trying to be? Like, who am
Hmm.
I? It's like we're kind of dating all of our different personas of like who we are and trying to feel like which one fits. Even
Yeah.
sometimes now I'll be like, oh, I really like how this person presents themselves, shall I try it on? But now I'm of an age where I'm like, I just don't have the energy, because ultimately I'm going to go back to my own one. But there is this time in your 20s, and it's so interesting because similarly for me, I think that was happening almost maybe a little bit earlier, but during COVID too, and then you've got this time away from the thing that you've spent your entire life really working towards, to play around with different things and different shoes and see what actually fits for you. Do you think that you came out of it? Obviously, then the world opened up. New York is an amazing place to come to after COVID, to be like, wow, I can just go be free. Yeah. But do you think that you then kind of made another commitment and another decision to this goal of being or getting to a place in your career that you wanted to be?
Yeah, I definitely feel like COVID helped me like choose again. You choose yourself, you choose your future for yourself. And it was just a weird kind of like, again, like most people's, or I guess like mine, like my, again, weight fluctuated so heavily during COVID. I think I gained like 25 pounds just from not dancing and whatever. And I was like, I want to change something. Something has to change. And so I'm choosing to do this without any external pressure or negative energy. I want to do it for myself now. And I think that's the main thing that I can say is like external pressures can only go so far.
Totally.
You have to choose as your own person what your future is, and you can't make someone choose something they don't want to. So I think that was, again, before COVID, I was a little bit like, hard-headed in how I wanted to live my life. But then coming out of it, I was like, no, I want to do this, and it's my choice to do this way. So I was like, I'm going to do ballet. I literally was like, everything else kind of like push aside. I'm gonna have a social life. I'm a human. It's gonna be fine. But like I'm not gonna, go out as much. I'm not gonna have late nights. I'm showing up to class every single morning. I'm going to the gym. I'm being attentive in rehearsals. I remember our anniversary year, 2023, that fall gala, the all balancing season. I was getting to dance a lot, and that was a big kind of realization for me that this is what I loved. I loved that exhaustion. I loved that feeling of being at like my peak performance. And ultimately at the end of that season is when I got promoted to soloist. And that was, again, similarly to when I got into the school and when I got my promotion to the core, it makes everything feel worth it and satisfying, and all made more special that it was my choice and I wasn't bullied into making a choice.
Yeah. Was there a role or a rehearsal moment in, at least in becoming a soloist, that, or before it, that really made you feel truly seen for the first time?
It was Concerto Barocco. I had been learning it, and someone went out, and I basically had, I think, like 10 days to go from learning it in the back to then performing it. Which, I've been thrown into roles before, and I am very comfortable being thrown into roles.
And the jazz and the theatrical dance that you've done your whole childhood also probably helped you just be so quick. Gilbert's a very
Yes.
quick learner, and like you just kind of just do it when you're asked to do it, which is very impressive because that's definitely a skill for a lot of people to develop. But I feel like that's one of your many attributes that have just been treasures in the company, because you do have to do that a lot.
Yes, definitely in those jazz classes where you're learning a combo and then you have to perform it at the end of that class. Like I got very comfortable just taking information and putting it back out in whatever way I felt possible and whatever I felt that was right for me. So I get thrown into Concerto Barocco with Mira. And I remember being like, okay with it. I was like, everything's fine, everything's cool, be calm. And it wasn't until I saw Andy Vea and Unity do it on the actual anniversary program, which was, I think it was Orpheus, Concerto Barocco, and what's the other one?
Maybe, was it Apollo? No.
Maybe I'm blanking on the third
Me
ballet, but
too.
it was the anniversary program of the company, and there was everyone there in the audience, and I watched it and I realized I was like, oh, this is the ballet. This is the ballet that started it all for New York City Ballet,
Yep.
and I'm doing it in 2 days.
You.
It hit me like a truck. I was like, crap. It was Symphony in C.
Oh, yes.
That's the third ballet. I was like, okay, can I do this? Actually, 2 years later, I have my debut in it. And it goes okay. It's not our best run. I definitely leave that show being like, I didn't do my best. But we have a second chance at it on the last show, which is a Sunday matinee. And I remember finishing the pas de deux. It's our best run yet. Thank God. And I walk off stage and I just remember feeling this kind of weight like dissipate off of me. And I get to the curtain call. I'm so excited. I remember I look John in the face and he was like, good job. And I was like, thanks. Is that it? I was so, I felt it. I felt different. And I was like, that felt like a promotion. I felt like something shifted.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. I knew something had shifted in my artistry, whether that resulted in promotion, whatever, but I wanted it. I think it's okay to say.
Of course.
I wanted to get promoted.
Yeah.
And I still had to dance Symphony in C that night, or that later that program. So he was like, good job, he gave me a handshake, and I went on my way. And I ended up in Giovanni's dressing room, and he was like, so? And I was like, it didn't happen. Like, I'm not going to get it. Like, now isn't my time, but like, I do feel good about what I did. And maybe it'll happen in the spring or the winter, maybe it'll happen in the future, but I definitely feel like different. So then I do a Symphony in C Demi's third movement, which is like my favorite movement.
It's so fun.
Because the coda, I mean, just those legs and the kicks, it's very much aligned with me. It feels really good on the body. And it's the best music. You end in that big shoulder sit and it's everyone's on stage. And I remember we're all bowing, everything's fine. I look over to my right and there's like a wall of people that is like Gonzalo, Wendy, John, Craig Hall, everyone just like walking towards the group. And he grabs me and he grabs Davide, and that's when he tells everyone that we're getting promoted soloist. And I don't know, I think I went out of my body for a second, because then there's like all these tutus hugging me, and it's like I don't know, it was truly an unreal experience.
What a special moment.
I feel like, yeah, I felt really happy, and I don't know, it just, everything seemed to kind of like fade away into the distance. Like it was just me and everyone. Like it was just such a pure of heart moment for everyone. Like we were all just so excited for each other. And I mean, I was so happy for Davide as well.
So
but it
cool
definitely,
that you felt it in your body even before you got the promotion. Even that kind of like, it's quite a cool thing to hear, I think, from artists, because you are just naturally so hard on yourself. Like it's ingrained because there is just a mirror staring back at you from day dot of, always wanting more and always wanting more for yourself and out of yourself. And having an experience where you just can feel that something shifted and you've gone somewhere you haven't before. That's so cool that it didn't happen then, just so you can experience that moment, and then it happens so quickly after. Obviously, you weren't left hanging for long, but
yeah,
so cool.
I mean, it's like what the opening line of Define Gravity. It's like something has changed within me. Something's not the same. It's very much that. Like you feel it.
Yeah.
Or you can feel. I felt it at least, and then obviously that an hour later getting it, I was like, it was like I didn't realize I was holding my breath. It was
Yeah.
just like a deep exhale. I don't know. I think it didn't hit me until really later that after, we all are celebrating, we got dinner and drinks, and most of the company ended up going to the Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie,
Oh,
like
yes.
all
Wait, we went
together.
to dinner with Sass in the
Yeah.
Yes,
city
yes.
before.
We went to
literally on
Rosie's.
this on this evening. I was like, I was there.
Yeah.
I saw you
Yes.
just after you
So
got promoted.
we all went together. And yeah, it was kind of just like, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, like it happened. It was great. But like, well, I think I was sitting alone in that, I took a break from the dancing party and I was like sitting alone in that theater watching Taylor Swift. And I just kind of like let it sink into my heart that like, I chose the right thing.
You did it.
I made the right choices to get me to where I am today. And that was really special and kind of validating in a way that I didn't
Absolutely.
really think it would be.
Yeah.
Mm.
Did you feel like from the first performance to the second, what changed for you to be able to even get to a kind of Zen place, and feel your inner confidence on the stage that you deserve and you can do this role?
Yeah. From an external standpoint, I will say I did not have a Celsius before my second show. So I was not jittery.
Yep. That'll do it.
That'll do it. I that season, I think it with the mixture of how much I was dancing, I did like really hard programs on top of also creating my Jules inspired gala looks, the 3 gala looks I made that year. I was up a lot and
Yeah.
I was drinking a lot of Celsius to get the caffeine highs for each show. So I did that for the first show thinking that I would need it, and I just like I didn't need it.
Isn't that so interesting? The fuel that you put into your body, it really just shows you that, you really have to have a pre-show, very consistent thing that works for you for specific things, like to not have, some people can't have coffee before the show. Some people can have a sip.
Yeah, it's very sensitive, this instrument we call our bodies. It can do a lot, but also it's a little like but so I didn't have a Celsius for the second show, and I think I was kind of able to that's what it was. I also didn't zoom out. I stayed right there with Mira because I feel like the first time I was like, you're doing Concerto Barocco. This is the first program of the New York City Ballet, and I was kind of like, no, just dance it. You can do this. You've rehearsed it. You've worked on it. Just do what you know.
Yeah.
And that's when everything worked out just as it was meant to. And again, that built my confidence to just do what I know.
Yeah, you lived
going
it.
forward.
You didn't watch it from afar.
Exactly.
Which sometimes, really all times, makes the performance really not enjoyable because you're so out of your body. You're like in the audience, looking in, saying, oh my goodness, so many people before me have done this. How can I be doing this,
Exactly.
Did you feel before the first show, when you saw the dress rehearsal of Unity and Andy, or the show, before you did your first show, was there anything that helped you manage, this all of a sudden anxiety that was brought on to be able to even have the guts to do the first show? I feel like that's something that I personally have worked so hard to expertise my routine of basically like making sure I have a moment of meditation, a moment of like writing something down, all these ways to even be able to go out there. Do you have anything that has helped you when you're in those moments of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be doing something that I don't know if I can even do this?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's what I can equate it to for myself is it's like you have taken a ski lift all the way up the mountain because you wanted to go on this Black Diamond run. And now you're here and there's no real way down other than to go. Like you kind of have to like get down the mountain, like, no matter what. And even if you fall the first time, you're going to get back on the ski lift, try again. And the second run will be better and it'll get better and better and better. So I think it's just kind of like, for me, I accept the inevitable and the kind of nervous energy. I try my best to let it fuel me, but I just know that like that first one is kind of like, it's like a bad pancake. If it goes, toss it on to the next.
And also, I feel like from hearing this, it sounds like you do just dive into it. You try not to be hesitant when you're going down, because if you're hesitant going down a Black Diamond, you're inevitably going to fall. So
yeah,
it's a great way it's a good image to just dive into it. Mine one is actually very similar to yours, where I go into the half pipe on a
Hmm.
snowboard, and in my head I'm like, well, I have to just dive, because if I don't, then I'm never gonna succeed
Hmm.
or have fun or be
Yeah,
present. You just have to like parachute into it.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
think it helps to have that diversity as well as a young kid in dance, because there is something that's so much more reserved if you just stick to ballet, because of that exactly what you're saying, the kind of like when you would learn a routine and then have to perform it straight away, like that
Hmm.
ability to just go and be bold and just do it, whether it fails, flops, whatever, and being able to then take that. I always think it's so interesting because so much of what we do inside the studio then also translates to kind of how we live our lives as well. And even if you're not a professional performer, even if you're just somebody that comes into a studio, takes up space and then leaves, how you act in your body during these moments, I think it totally translates. And hearing how you're diving into these big things, I want to go into the fashion and learn a little bit more about you diving into that, because I remember asking you about it when we were at that dinner after your promotion, and it must have been around the time that you had just created some incredible look, and I was going through it just going, what, like,
Jules
how?
Festival, 3
Yes.
looks.
So I want to hear about, obviously we heard a little bit about how you got into it, but then how it was then something that you showed to other people, like,
Hmm.
and you wore. Just tell me everything you can. I want to absorb it all and just continue to be amazed by you, because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I feel like, okay, so again, I always loved fashion and creating the looks and like, or like styling myself, I should say, not creating yet, in both just like my street style, and every year Halloween comes about, I always loved like dressing up for Halloween. But right before COVID, I started doing drag. My drag name is Ibuprofen.
My fave.
It's so good. I've
Ivy
got it written in my
Profen.
notes. I was like, this is too good. I
Ivy
couldn't.
Profen. So good.
Ivy Profen. Y'all are now part of the Ivy League. You're welcome.
Thank you.
But so I was doing drag and I was buying a lot of clothes online, but I'm a very tall woman, and a lot of things that I wanted either didn't come in my size, or like the sleeves weren't long enough. And so I kind of knew that if I wanted to pursue this career as a career, I was going to have to inevitably sew and be able to create my own outfits. We came back from COVID. I stopped doing drag as much. With the amount that we were masking and testing at the company, I didn't feel comfortable having a maskless nightlife job, with especially how many people were mothers and parents in the company. It didn't feel right in my heart to be able to do both. So I did make that choice. And I also, again, two nightlife jobs don't really work together.
No,
So
that's hard.
I chose dance. I chose ballet. Choice one. But our galas were coming around every year, twice a year, and I wanted to be able to create things for these galas. I'd already had a couple looks commissioned by my friend Tyler James for galas past, and when I did the winter ball at SAB, when I choreographed, I had him, crop a little suit for me. So I'd already been kind of commissioning, getting ideas out there. I'd asked him to do one for the 2021 gala, fall gala, and he said that I think he was busy, he couldn't do it. And I kind of just took it upon myself to teach myself the looks that I wanted to create. So it was very simple. I bought a suit and I sewed this sash together and sewed some like hook and eyes and made a sort of Kim Jones for Dior sash suit inspiration. And then from there, I got the itch. At each one, I was like, how can I up it? And how can I teach myself as I go along? The inspirations after that, my first, like, I want to say 5 or 6 looks, were all basically how far I could push or really dismantle a classic black suit. I think that was really, at the time, important to me, because I was like, I'm existing in this very traditional world. I'm going to galas. A black tie gala is very cut and dry for a man. A tux is a tux is a tux, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, how much can I like pick away at it before I'm now doing something completely new? That ultimately resulted in I was so crazy back then. I made this 2-piece. I have to laugh because I was so ambitious. I still am
So
ambitious,
good.
but I was just kind of like, I was so young and like, I'll just do it. Anyway, so I built this 2-piece. It was like a square top asymmetrical, and a as a nod to the serenade costume for the slight like diagonal waistline, a floor length skirt with a thigh high Angelina Jolie slit, but it was all made out of black suiting material. And so for me at the time, that was my black suit, and it was
I
a lot of
love it.
skin. It was a lot of skin, but I mean, I loved it. It made sense to me at the time. It still makes sense to me now, and it's funny how that look is what kind of opened me up to then be able to create something like the Jules Gala, which was kind of my big like moment. I amassed a lot of followers in that time. I think I gained like 50,000 followers over the weekend
Wow.
because of that look, and it was really kind of special.
You found the suit that suits you.
Exactly. I made the suit that suits me.
I know, Sassy, you're laughing because that was really good.
That was so good. You've gotten so good at this, Indy.
But also, I really admire Gilbert for being himself. It's such a nice thing to feel when I'm around you personally, and it really gives others, I think, the confidence to be themselves and encourage others to just be yourself. Just own it. Your uniquenesses are beautiful and it inspires others. So I just wanted to,
And so cool to turn
Thank
up
you.
to a gala like that, like you say, that's so like square and just
Mhm.
bring something totally unique and interesting and that's playing on the squareness of what is expected. Did you
Mhm.
feel excited to do it, or was there any part of you that was like, I wonder how this is going to go down? Like, I wonder what people are going to think.
Yeah, for the first like maybe 6 times I would pull these looks and create these things, I was always very nervous. I mean, it's a big risk. I'm not adhering to a dress code technically. Of course, the dress code is a lot more, it's looser for women in a way. And so I was like playing on that. Like they get to, like, I always loved seeing these beautiful dresses at the gala because I'm jealous. I want to wear something just as glamorous. So it was very scary. And I think that, again, you got to just put confidence forward. If you do these things without confidence, it's kind of, people can it's like blood in the water for sharks. They can smell it. They know when you're not being confident. And all you have to do is project that. What I will say is I did have a bit of pushback on my second look. It was this backless suit, and I made a pink cape and matching pink gloves for the first time I choreographed. No, the second time I choreographed for Winter Ball. And I was told that people really did not like it and did not get it and did not appreciate it. And my thought process behind that was, well, I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me. And that was the precursor to inevitably my 2-piece black suit. And then following up, the Jules Gala, where I showed up essentially naked and covered in rhinestones.
This episode of the Grace and Form podcast is sponsored by a wonderful donor who wants to shine a light on some of the most impactful dance and art charities in the world. Today we're highlighting the National Dance Institute's Dream Project. At NDI, the belief is simple but powerful. Everyone can dance. For nearly 50 years, their programs have opened doors for children of all abilities, including dancers who are deaf or hard of hearing, dancers who are blind or have low vision, and dancers with a wide range of intellectual, emotional, and physical disabilities. It's a mission that's close to our heart. Indiana herself has performed numerous times at NDI with the incredible Daniel Ulbrich, who has a huge impact on this incredible institute. She's seen firsthand the incredible impact the work has on young dancers and their communities. If you'd like to support the Dream Project, you can donate at nationaldance.org. Every contribution helps keep the joy of dance accessible to every child.
I love it. You're
That.
pushing the boundaries. I mean, I think it's so important for ballet to also just shift a little bit,
Yeah.
And also, like you say, you're doing it for yourself. Like,
Yeah.
and that's what I think people need to just realize is that, it's not like you're going out to try and offend somebody. And also,
Right.
it's not offensive. You're gorgeous. You want to express yourself, and you can push the wall a little bit or a
Yeah.
lot. And we're in the theater. Come on.
Right.
But
And
it's cool that though too, because it's like you're in the theatre and at the point at which you're starting to really show off what else you can do other than dance. You're not at the highest level in the company. There's somewhere you want to go still. And I think a lot of people would be worried that,
Hmm.
you know, we've heard it before. I think even on this podcast, it's like, don't stand out, like just do the work, you know. And actually, I think it's really amazing. You're a really amazing example of doing the work, standing out because you're brave and you're bold and you're doing what you want to do, and it's for you.
He's
Exactly.
bolden.
I know.
Be bolden.
Be
God,
No,
bolden.
but
what's happened to you, Indy? It's like the jet lag has made you into you're the dad with all the jokes.
The
you are
dad.
catchphrase right now.
Really
Uh,
cool.
but yeah, so I think that honestly, I do feel like that gala and that reception of those three outfits together did also help me get my promotion in a way. I kind of is it in my mind, you know, everything is subjective, but in my mind, doing that, putting myself out there at this level for these people to see me, and everyone's asking, who is that? Who is this person? It's a level of like name recognition and notoriety that will only help as you ascend in a company.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everyone needs to do that, but that's what it felt like to me. I was trying to elevate myself outside of the studio that would only help me in the studio. So I want my whole life to elevate together.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's so important to be unapologetically yourself, you know, through this
Exactly.
whole thing. And inside such a traditional institution, you know, it's a brave place to be, I think. But being unapologetically yourself, like, do you feel like you've had any struggles or any moments in your journey that have been a little bit more challenging to be able to get there for yourself? Or do you feel like you've kind of had this easy flow of, you know, because you're you?
It definitely was. It wasn't all happy-go-lucky through my years. Like any artist will tell you, there's ups and downs, ebbs and flows, and that's just kind of how it is. But I definitely feel like I had to become very smart very quickly about how I wanted to sort of play the game.
Hmm.
Because what's what I was doing. I'll say it. Like I knew what was expected of a ballet dancer, a male ballet dancer, tall in this company, what I had to do to get forward and to be the best that I could be. But I knew within that, again, I could start plugging in little things over time and time and time again, which resulted in my artistry that would only elevate me and become special as I got older. So I played the game. I was like, I'll be the perfect core person. I'll do it, but then I'll always have that thing that I'll never lose myself. And I
Yeah.
knew that even when I decided to be square, I was never going to lose who I was. And that kind of is a result of my entire childhood and my entire growing up in the dance space. I was always going to look different. I always knew that I was going to look different in any way in every part that I was in. But as I started to like partner with a lot of the like veteran ballerinas, you know, like Sarah Mearns and like Lauren Lovett, Ashley Bowder, even getting to learn from Russell Jansen, like and Taylor Stanley, like I'm like, these are all such special individual people, and they're not all like cookie cutters.
Totally.
They can teach me how I can exist in this space while remaining an artist and not feeling stifled out in any way. So I definitely think as well, being gay, it was hard for me to find a balance of like masculinity and femininity.
Hmm.
But what helped in that regard was my build. I was very tall, very broad shouldered. I had a sort of masculine look to me.
Yeah.
And that also freed me up to kind of play more with my feminine side within this masculine body. I remember Silas Farley made a piece for me, or I was in his piece in the school, and he was like, I just love how you're so tall, you're so broad, you're so strong, but then you move with such fluidity, and it's so special. And I feel like for a while, but I tried not to use it, but I was like, no, like it just feels good.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's kind of what people really resonated with as I got older and more, and was able to dance more artistically fulfilling things.
Yeah.
Like I feel when I danced Copeland dance episodes, when I made my debut in that, it was, again, first show, completely out of body. I just didn't feel like it was my strongest. But the second one, I just was like, just be yourself. You stop trying to be someone else. Stop trying to be anyone else. What are you doing? Like, this is not how you got here, by being someone else.
Yeah.
And I think that second show really changed how I viewed myself and my dancing and my femininity and my masculinity as a whole. It was really, it's not validating, but it was special. It was, you have to remind yourself that you're choosing. That's kind of the theme of my life. I always chose. I made these strong choices. You will sometimes forget that you chose, but you have to come back to it. You have to come back to you and what made you special. And I found what makes me special, and I'm excited to see what happens in the future that'll keep making me special.
Yeah, and you keep celebrating it. I love this quote by Oscar Wilde. That's the quote that I live by. Be yourself because everyone's already taken. And I always try to remember that when I'm in any moment of, self-doubt or self-doubt in a way that I know will not help in any way, because I think self-doubt can also help you keep learning and reaching out to have resources or more teachings and learnings, which are always so welcomed. But a self-doubt that is critical in a way that will just hinder you instead of like uplift yourself, which is so important. So people joke that fashion might steal you from the ballet. Does that feel flattering, accurate, or something else?
It feels flattering, definitely. I mean, because I taught myself how to sew. I didn't have any sewing class beforehand. So the fact that I'm even making these looks and doing these things, it's still insane to me. I make things now. I'm surprised that I made it.
So cool.
I don't think that is where I'm going right now, especially coming back from injury and from surgery. Like, I'm so locked in with dance.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a whole life to live.
Yeah.
Everyone reminds you from the second that you are 11 years old in dance that the end is coming. Your end is coming at any moment. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen when you're 40. It could happen if people will let you know. Adults will tell children that they are choosing the wrong career.
Yes.
And that's really, crazy.
Totally.
But there's a whole life to live outside after this career of mine. And I think that fashion can be part of it. Maybe it won't be. Maybe this is just for right now. But at the end of the day, I'm just living and having fun.
Yeah, and hobbies are so important.
Exactly.
They're so important. Olivia McKinnon is now doing needle pointing, and she just is loving it. It's doing a shout out in case anybody needs a new hobby. She says that it just puts her in such a zen, place, but it also takes you away from screens. And I feel like that's similar to sewing. I went to Parsons for a fashion design course for a whole summer and also created a ball gown. And I love fashion and sewing. And it was just such a special hobby because it took you away from screens. And I just feel like that is just so crucial in our life nowadays, where screens are just surrounding you everywhere. Like before, you kind of had to look out for a screen. I feel like, like dig up the phone or like go and have designated TV time as a kid or whatever. But now they're just everywhere, especially in Manhattan. And so like now the challenge is finding hobbies and things to take you away from the screen. And I think sewing is obviously something that is, so helpful in that way for your mind and for just, I think it's such a good thing for people.
Yeah. It's also really analytical and mathematical, and I'm going to need to use so much more math than I thought I'd ever use in my adult life.
You have a calculator, probably.
I'm getting the circumference and the radius of the circle, and I'm like, it's really crazy. Sorry to all my math teachers that when I asked, is this even worth learning in middle school? You are right. It's worth learning.
Just for the gown.
I love that.
Just for the gown. Always for the gown.
It's also like a really raw form of artistry that yes, you get when you're performing, but it is also your job, and there is also there's something really nice about. I remember when I was still dancing and I was in and out of injury, and finding cooking and finding writing was so wonderful for me, because it was something that, yes, could be a career, but at the very heart of it was something that I just really loved, and not making it not putting lots of pressures and goals on it like I was doing with my dancing was really freeing and kept the joy and the interest alive there. I think it's such a nice thing to have, finding something else artistically. If you are somebody that is an artist or is very creative, finding something else is so nice. And for you, you've obviously got dance and fashion, but you also, you're choreographer. You're doing, I'm looking here at all the bloody list of things I've got here that you've done. I'm like, I can't, it's literally on the side of my screen. But obviously you did the SAB, and a dance film like Misconnections,
Hmm.
what draws you to doing that as well as everything else you're doing? Is there an innate need to do it? Do you love it? Do you have ambitions for it too?
Yeah, I mean, I love to choreograph. I've always loved it. I hear music and I have to dance. Like every dancer feels, they feel, you hear the beat and you gotta go for it. I think along with that, kind of always being told that what I was doing in the dance space was not right and not good enough and not whatever. Like I said, I wasn't the chosen one. I wasn't the best one in the class. I kind of looked to choreography as a comfort. I was like, no, but I can make these choices and they're good choices and they're valid choices. Like, why can't they be? So that definitely also helped me become stronger as an artist, or I guess not stronger, but more clear in my artistry, was having these pieces that I made. I've pretty much made between 1 to 2 pieces a year ever since I was 14. Just it's always been there in the background.
Yeah, so it's been a long time.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's
I didn't really think about it.
so cool. I mean, do you feel like you can also, it's a place for you to push some boundaries too and to create and write some things maybe that haven't been written in the dance world?
Definitely. I mean, famously, it's the quote? It's like it's balancing, no new steps, only new combinations.
Yeah.
But I definitely think there are pairings. I think there are sensitivities to be seen on stage. A lot of what my choreography centers around is intimate moments
Mm.
and true expression of the human spirit. So, I mean, I made a piece separate from the dance film, but with the same name called Misconnections. And that was about where I was at in the dating pool in New York and how you could have these connections, but then nothing really mattered after that one date that was special, you know? So it's like a random thing that like we all feel or we all go through, but now I'm translating it into the dance world and trying to emulate that energy. And so I've always really I just want to share emotional vulnerability through ballet, through my choreography, and through my dancing as well. That's why I love acting roles. But choreography is definitely a thing that I want to pursue in the future, and that I guess I'm really continuing to pursue now.
Yeah, it's
But
amazing.
I want to do it. I love doing it. So even if if I suck and everyone hates it, it doesn't matter. It's for me.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, and that's the theme of, your, I feel like your career too, and your finding of yourself and your artistry. I think that's so important to just always go back to that because it doesn't matter, the commentary and stuff. We get commentary all the time. Being validated is, really nice, but it's also something you don't want to rely on,
Yeah.
obviously. And then also, comments from others, they have their own issues that they're dealing with. You never know. People take things out on everybody, and so that's always a good thing to remember to just like, shut all those voices outside and just kind of go back to yourself.
People always say art is subjective,
Yeah.
but that is not always awarded to dancers.
Totally. Oh my
We
gosh.
get told yes, no
Yep.
so often. And it's like, okay, there are things that can be yes and no, but also like you can't, I don't know. It's art. It's
Yeah.
subjective. I don't know. We treat us nicer, please. Treat dancers kindly.
Yeah, totally. I couldn't agree more. Coming out of your injury now, what is like the dancer that you are hoping to be on the stage?
It's hard to say. I feel like, ultimately, if I can inspire one person, that's more than enough for me. I just kind of want to be someone that people can look up to because, I feel like it's so often that young dancers don't have someone that they can relate to at this level.
Yeah.
And I just hope that maybe somewhere some little dancer is looking at me and, feels something, feels anything because you remember who that person was when you were a child, both of you. Like,
Totally.
you had that person and you stood by that person no matter what. I mean, I remember first seeing Russell Jansen on stage, his quiet confidence and energy. And I just hope that maybe someone out there can relate in some way.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
definitely
so
watch
nice.
you in awe as well when I'm on the
And
sidelines.
same to you.
I think it's really also lovely to hear what your pieces are based off with those intimate moments, because the one thing that I can't remember feeling is as a kid, I really remember feeling, okay, this is my person. These are the dancers I want to be like. I'm going to go to every performance. I've got the posters, but I don't remember any of the pieces that I watched moving me because I related to them. And I think there's something really special in that, even just hearing about, like, you know, the phrase misconnections. I have so many things that I can think of and so many things in my own life where I'm like, actually seeing that represented on stage would be really special because it's not out of touch. It's not a dramatic theatrical story. It's really true. And I think that those two things being paired obviously make a lot of sense, that those are two ambitions of yours to showcase those true, very real moments and also be seen by the younger generation coming up for who you are. And I think that's really special and something that I wish I'd had more of when I was a kid, because I would devour the books and I devoured the screen, and my passion was dance, but I never remember seeing my own experiences on stage. And
Yeah,
that's
in
not really
ballet.
cool. Yeah.
That's so unique.
Yeah, I always struggled as coming up because I feel like people would ask me, like, who did you look up to as a kid? Who were you really inspired by? And it was hard to like pick one person, but also like I never felt like there was anyone like me exactly.
Yeah.
Which, you know, makes sense. Everyone's unique, but
Yeah.
it's like still you kind of you do see a lot of other people like have these older reflections of themselves and their careers, and I didn't feel like that there was anything like that for myself. So I'm hoping now that we can be on the other side and maybe being as sort of unconventional as it is, or as I feel like I am, maybe someone else will feel it.
It's a wonderful way to come back to the stage too. You're just kind of honing in even more into yourself and then bringing that on the stage. Are there any
Exactly.
roles that you are dying to do in your career
That I haven't done yet?
that you haven't done yet? Yeah, because Gilbert has done many roles that are just iconic that you always wanted to do, because we've talked about it.
Yes. Well, I've definitely been thrown into a lot of roles.
Yeah.
But I mean, going hand in hand with emotional vulnerability on the stage, I really want to do Romeo and Juliet. I think playing Romeo, I've seen him done a lot of ways, but there is something about like, there's something there that I want to tap into that I haven't always seen. Same thing goes for like Siegfried and Swan Lake. These traditionally kind of himbo men.
Yeah.
I think there's something that maybe it's not like exactly the story that's been told for 1,000 years, or it's not the original source material. There's room for an interpretation, and then
Yeah.
I want to be able to have a chance at interpreting them. But yeah, those are kind of two that I would love to do in a more classical sense. I also my kind of who knows if it would happen, but I would also love to do Apollo.
You'd be stunning in that too.
Thank you, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But we know. We're like,
we know. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
We can manifest, but also we can be happy with the career that we have.
Absolutely.
I love
Best
that.
mindset.
Well, Gilbert, to close out, we've got 2 more questions, so we won't take up much of your time because, you know, you've got places to run on that newly no-booted foot.
Yes.
What this year obviously has been one of like great highs with being a new principal. This interesting pause, which in some ways I feel like is an amazing moment to stop and reflect, which we don't get much as dancers, particularly. You kind of know what you're doing, and even if you make the choices to continue, you don't have that pause. Is there one lesson from this year that maybe solidified or you learnt that you'll carry forever?
That's a hard question. I feel like I've kind of always navigated this life in a very intuitive way that to give advice feels very almost phony in a way.
Mm.
Well, actually, my second question might help you more, because my second question was going to be if you could go back to an earlier version of yourself, you know, teen Gilbert, SAB Gilbert, Corps de Ballet Gilbert, what would you tell him now? So maybe instead of giving advice to someone else, is there any advice that now you're here, now you've made it, as it were, quote unquote, you've gotten, you know, you're a principal. Is there anything you'd say to yourself?
I would say watch the mic.
Oh, thanks.
That was so good, Sats.
Yeah. Thanks. That's some good advice. You're actually very good at giving advice to other people.
There's my advice to you for free. But younger Gilbert, I mean, he wouldn't listen to me. He was very stubborn, which, you know, only helps in being confident, I guess, in a way. But I guess I would just say, like, trust it. Stick to your guns and, like, just in the sake of it being this TikTok meme from a couple years ago, but, like, be who you are.
Yeah.
Be who you are for your pride. Like, just be who you are. Again, there's no one else who is you. No one else has your experiences. No one else has lived your life. So just keep doing whatever you're doing and own that. You can't rent to life. You have to own your own.
I love that.
You've given us some amazing quotes. I'm
I
imagining them
know.
all stitched together in like the most amazing TikTok of life.
Oh my gosh.
Gilbert, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I
Thank
really
you for
have had
having
the
me.
best time listening to all your experiences, all the catchphrases, all the analogies. You're brilliant.
Yeah,
Really
agreed.
appreciate it.
It was so good to see both your faces.
Aww.
Thank you for listening to the Grace Informed podcast. This episode was produced by Indiana Woodward, Megan Elsie McNally, and me, Saskia Gregson-Williams. If you're really loving the show, it would be wonderful if you take a moment to rate and review us. It helps other ballet lovers find our pod and lets us bring you even more episodes. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.
Have thoughts, questions, or topics you'd like us to explore? You can find us on all social media platforms as Grace and Form Studio. Drop us a message. If this episode has got you itching to move, oh, do we have the app for you. Download the Grace and Form app today and start your 7-day free trial. Whether you're a seasoned dancer or just starting out, there are ballet classes and dance-inspired workouts for everyone, no matter the level. Come join our community of dance lovers and experience the joy of movement for yourself. Again, thank you so much for listening, and until next time, take a deep breath in, be gentle with yourself, and always keep moving forward.